Up next, in conversation with community reporter Sheila Lorette Emerson, we have Shawna Lutzow from Lady Laughs Philly. Lady Laughs Philly is the city's only monthly comedy show that features all women and queer comics. Thank you for joining us in the studio, Shawna and Sheila.
Thanks for being with me tonight, Shawna. How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. So, first, I want to just talk about what is your origin story? How did you get into comedy?
I got into comedy pretty much when I came out as queer at age 24. I started to hear a lot of questions or hear a lot of people's opinions that were a little inappropriate, but also I could swing it to be kind of funny. So I'm like, let me figure out how to kind of take more ownership over this process and make it funny and lighthearted.
Okay, I love that. And what is Lady Laughs Philly?
Lady Laughs Philly is a branch of Lady Laughs Comedy, which started in Madison, Wisconsin by a comedian named Nina Martinez. She is a trans woman comic, and I am from Wisconsin, and I performed with Lady Laughs Comedy several times in different shows and international comedy festivals. And when I moved out here, I did some research to find if there were any monthly or regular comedy shows that featured all women or all queer comics, and I found that there weren't any currently. And so I was like, let's make it happen. So I asked Dina if we could do a Lady Laughs comedy branch in Philly, and she said yes. So we've been collaborating from afar, and I've been finding some local talent to be on the shows and productions.
Why did you feel like there was a need for a Lady Laughs comedy kind of production?
As with most things in the world, comedy is also straight white male dominated, and I think it's important to create spaces that support identities that are, more than that. So it's just important to be able to create spaces for women and queer comics to have stage time and to let folks know how funny we are, and to have not only our stage diverse with comics, but also our audience to be able to come and hear some jokes that can resonate with their identities as well, and to have more of an opportunity to leave a comedy show like jovial and fun, and less opportunities to leave feeling defeated or triggered.
Okay, so let's get into that a little bit deeper. So you mentioned about cis heterosexual males dominating the comedy scene. Can cis heterosexual males come to Lady Laugh Comedy open mics, the lineup?
So our shows are exclusively all women and queer comics. We do open mics, and anyone can perform at our open mics, but we prioritize women and queer comics.
Okay.
Something that maybe not everybody knows in the comedy scene, especially the open mic scene, is that lists don't always go in order. Sometimes you don't get to go up. Sometimes it can be a boys' club. It can be a who knows who kind of thing. And so for me, I'm like, if we just get to pick who goes up, then I'm going to prioritize women and queer comics. And if anyone's welcome to come, but I kind of low-key enjoy the dynamic of a straight man coming and wondering if this environment is for them, wondering if they're allowed to be there, or wondering if it's for them, because that's how a lot of women feel going to mics, or queer folks feel going to mics. So to flip that script, I think, is interesting. So we have had we have had straight men come to our mics and to be in the audience of our shows, and I'm grateful for the support. I think people should put themselves into situations that might push some of their comfort zones.
Okay, I love that. And what I know with Lady Laughs Comedy, I know that there's an open mic portion, and then you also actually have shows where there's actual lineups where folks get paid.
Yes.
How did that come about, that recipe?
So I started in March of 2024, and we had a show, and so I was kind of flip-flopping back and forth. One month I would do a show, the next month I would do an open mic, and as we built momentum and built a following, now we do a show every month, at least one show every month. and I'm hoping to lock in a monthly venue for our open mics. We did lock in every other month for the rest of the year at Tattooed Mom. So
Okay.
our next open mic will be Monday, July 14th at Tattooed Mom.
Nice.
And that's free. You can come watch, you can come perform. And our next show is this Saturday, July 12th at Silk City Diner.
Here's the flyer.
Yes, hopefully you see it around town.
I don't know if you can zoom in on the flyer or
Yeah,
not.
yeah.
But if you follow, we'll talk a little bit more about
We'll
this
talk.
flyer. Okay, super. So,
I didn't know I could see myself right there.
one of the things about your shows is that you intentionally have 50% of your lineup as folks who are BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, people of color, and that's very intentional. How did that come about?
Yeah, so I moved to Philadelphia 3 years ago from Wisconsin. And I, at the time, was close with somebody who was in the drag scene. And as she was getting acclimated to the drag scene out here, I was also learning more about nightlife culture and, just some of the culture. And I came across, or someone shared a town hall that was recorded in summer of 2020. And it was a drag and burlesque town hall that was put on by performers Vinchell, Icon Ebony Fierce, and it was facilitated by AJ Hikes. And that town hall was an opportunity to call in a lot of performers and producers to have better racial equity in their shows and in their general practices of life, of being mindful of how white supremacy can seep into every aspect of life and especially productions. So with that town hall, they had an expectation and continue to have an expectation for all nightlife producers to have at least 50% people of color in their lineups. In a city like Philadelphia, it is not hard to do, and that expectation is not unreasonable. So for it to be an expectation for drag and burlesque, I'm like, it should be an expectation for any entertainment or nightlife, so I just adopted it, and that's what I continue to do.
I love that. And what I also love is that it seems like you were mentored when you were in Wisconsin, and you're continuing that here in Philadelphia by allowing folks to work with you to co-produce comedy shows. How did that come about?
I've just had a couple people who I've become closer friends with that I'm like, are you interested in co-producing? So I've had a couple co-producers so far, and I think it's just fun to be able to spread the joy of producing. I think every aspect of it is fun. Not everybody thinks that. Not everybody likes logistical pieces. So when I co-produce with somebody, I lay out everything that goes into the production, and I'm like, what sounds fun to you, or where do you want to try to stretch yourself? Do you want to design a flyer? Do you want to pick the whole lineup? Do you want to find a venue? Like all of these things, and then the everything else I'll pick up too. We can collaborate and work together to make it happen, because I think it can feel intimidating to jump into producing and to be able to have a stepping stone to see if it's something that you like. Why not? you know?
Okay. And then how does all this get paid for? Because I know you pay your talent.
Yeah.
Where's the money coming from?
Oh, it's me. I made a commitment and an investment, and every month I just hope to break even. But really, since it's been a little over a year, our audience is growing, our following is growing, and it's nice to be able to have had many sold out shows this year so far. So that's been helpful. So I'm just kind of hoping for the best out here as we grow, and want to be able to continue to pay performers and hopefully pay them even more as we grow our audience. So.
And also, congratulations, you just had a 1-year anniversary
Yes, thank
for
you.
Lady Laughs Philly. I think it was in February?
March, yeah.
March, there you
Yes,
go.
yeah.
And where did you celebrate that?
We celebrated that at Nikki Lopez on South Street. It's a new venue there. So we had a show there last month as well.
Okay, awesome. How can people learn about Lady Laughs Philly?
You can follow us on Instagram at Lady Laughs Philly. You can DM us if you have any questions, if you want to come to any of our shows. We also always have a handful of free tickets for especially BIPOC folks if you can't afford a ticket, but we want to make sure that comedy is accessible to anybody.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Shawna.
Thank you.